This video is a follow-up to the atomic radius trend, so make sure you've seen that first. So now we're looking at ions. So we're trying to figure out what's bigger, O or O2 minus. So the only difference between these two, they both are oxygen, so they both have 8 protons. And this has 8 electrons, and this has 10 electrons. So if you just think about what's different, what makes up an atom's size, it's really the electron cloud. And so when you have more electrons, if everything else is exactly the same, we expect O2 minus to be bigger. We can sketch that out if we want to. There's 8 protons in each, and if we wanted to draw a Bohr model, we could. So this is what oxygen would look like, and this is what O2 minus would look like. It just has a full outer shell, but they have the same number of protons pulling them in, and so this is able to take up more space because there's just more repulsion. The next one, K versus K plus. By definition, they both have the same number of protons at 19, because that's what makes it K. But this has 19 electrons, and this has 18 electrons. And actually, if you go and look at this, K plus has effectively lost the shell because it finishes with 4s1. And so if you lose that electron, you've lost your 4th ring. If you were to sketch this out with a Bohr model, you would see that. So this is what K looks like with 19 electrons. I'm doing this awfully fast. That's 18, and then the 19th is in the 4th ring. So when it becomes K plus, this electron goes away, and you've effectively lost that whole outer ring. So as a result, we expect K to be bigger than K plus. So generally speaking, if all other things are equal, having more electrons is going to make your atom bigger, as we see in these two cases. Let's look at one that's a little more complicated. So here we have Mg2 plus and O2 minus. So Mg has 12 protons, and because it's 2 plus, it has 10 electrons. O2 minus has 8 protons, and because it's -2, has 10 electrons. So they both have the same number of electrons. They're both effectively like neon. We say they're isoelectronic with neon. So then the question becomes, which one is bigger? So the only real difference between them is their number of protons. And if you remember from the atomic radius trend, when you have more protons, the protons are pulling inward on the electrons. So the more protons you have, the more they pull inward, and that makes the atom smaller. So if we're comparing size of the atom, we actually expect O2 minus to be bigger because it has fewer protons and everything else is the same. So regular Mg is bigger than O, as we see from our trend. As you go down and to the left, they get bigger. But O2 minus is bigger than Mg2 plus. So it's a little, we have to pay attention to these charges and see what the effect is. When two things have the same number of electrons, we're really going to look at the protons to decide which is bigger. The bigger one will be the one with the fewer protons. And that's it. So until next time, I am Derek Genova. Have a delightful day.